All right, let's do one more simplifying example here. Sine theta over cosine theta plus cosine theta over 1 plus sine theta. So we need to do the simplification here. Note that in this situation, everything is sine and cosine already, so we don't have to worry about converting into sines and cosines. However, we do need to try to combine and add these two things together by getting a common denominator. Okay, so to do that, what I'm going to have to do is basically, let me rewrite it down here with a little extra space. We need to get the same denominator on both fractions. So the first fraction, I'm going to multiply both top and bottom by 1 plus sine theta. Okay, and then over here I'm going to multiply both top and bottom by cosine theta. That way they both will match up with each other in the denominator. Okay, what this is going to look like is we'll have 1 plus sine theta times sine theta plus cosine theta times cosine theta all over 1 plus sine theta cosine theta. So now I've combined the two fractions together. I have the common denominator and the two numerators together. Now we need to do some cleanup here. This sine theta, since it's on the side of the parentheses, it can distribute into the parentheses, making this into sine theta plus sine squared theta. And then we have a plus cosine squared theta here, all over 1 plus sine theta cosine theta. Notice I'm leaving the denominator alone. I'm not multiplying it through. Most times we're not going to, unless we have a need to do so. Though the numerator distributing up here was going to help us work this out. Because now notice how you have a sine squared theta plus cosine squared theta. And as we've seen from the identities, that all is just 1. So now I'm going to change this into sine theta plus 1 all over 1 plus sine theta cosine theta. Okay. And the awesome thing is we have the sine theta plus 1 on top and on bottom. So both of those can be crossed out. Keeping in mind when you cross out the numerator, you still have a 1 left over on top. So what this is going to look like is 1 over cosine theta yet again. And that was just secant theta. Now they're not all going to turn into secant theta. It just so happened that these all came out to look like that at the very end. On this example, we're going to simplify the expression cosecant squared x minus 1 all over cosecant squared x. And our first step, like on all the others, is convert everything into sines and cosines. So this cosecant, more specifically cosecant squared, I'm going to change that to be 1 over sine, but in this case it would be 1 over sine squared. So it would look like 1 over sine squared x minus 1 over sine squared x. And then we'll need to simplify this down. And so let's multiply both top and bottom by the sine squared x. Again, we're doing this so that I can cancel out the denominators on top and bottom. So if I multiply both of these on top and bottom by sine squared x, what that'll allow me to do is then cancel out the sine squared x's, and that'll reduce this down to on top would be left over 1 minus sine squared x all over 1. And we know from our identities again that 1 minus sine squared x is equal to cosine squared x.
So this whole thing would simplify down to just cosine squared x over 1 or cosine squared x.